All right, here we are. We're back for the second portion of this lesson, and we ended the last lesson looking at this spreadsheet that had just been downloaded from this website, which is a title company's mapping website. And I ended the training saying, "Oh my gosh, there's 115 addresses," and we kind of left it there. So, and I knew that was more than what I had planned on for something like this. So what had happened is, if you look at this mapping function, look, even putting the line just a little bit over into the yard, this is a totally different neighborhood. The lot sizes are different. The entry, even how you get there, is totally different. So these 28, 27 through 21, 16 through 28 essentially, also 15, 14, 13, even some of those 75, 76, those are outside the neighborhood. So what you could do, you could trash it and redraw it. It looks like, as long as I stay kind of inside of these boundaries. So if I'm really kind of conservative about how I do it, I know that these properties are included. I go all the way down here, make sure I go across these, and this is just one piece of software. You guys might have other ideas, but I'm just going to try to be careful to just kind of go over the top of the blue dots. Okay. Blue dots only. Try to come out here, and go like that. So maybe that's a better way to do it right there. And then there should be, there we go. Let's see how many we got. More like 88. Looks like 88, right? So export these. Oh, I gotta sign in. Export these, and so again, however you get your list, you get your list. There's a few tricks I do want to go over. So again, kind of the first thing I do when I see a spreadsheet like this, I'm going to delete all this HOA nonsense and all this stuff. Okay, here's something that's important. This is a bunch of data. So before, we had grabbed a couple of different spreadsheets, and so really what you got to think about is how this is going to format up. All right, this must have been phase 1, and then you had phase 2, and you can combine these. So one of the problems is, right now, you've got owner 1, owner 2, and then you've got the house number, the street type, it's all kind of separated, right? And so you've got to kind of figure out how you want to format this, and I'm kind of particular about the way I like to do things, and I'll just show you what I did. So you could just take this, because we're going to use a function on Word called mail merge, and you could just take this and it would read Marvin and Vicky Statch, and then you could put in the home information and all that good stuff. Okay, but I'm going to show you another way to do it as well. Okay, so let's go over here, and you can kind of go through here if you wanted. Here's some more HOA information. You delete that. In the end, I got to 75, so I'm not going to sit here and scrub this on this training, but I got to 75. But I do want to show you something kind of cool. So let's do this. Let's insert a row. And Excel has this cool feature called concatenate. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put an equal sign. What we're really going to do with this spreadsheet is we're going to take fields that are unmerged and we're going to merge them together. Okay. So we're going to we don't want it to read. Sorry, now that I started a formula, it doesn't let me click around like I like to do. So we don't want it to read Sacramento Charles Jr. Brace Maryland C. All right, we don't want it to read Con Allen M. Con Lazara G. Okay, that's just so impersonal. So when I'm making mailing labels as well as addressing letters, like I want it to look as normal as possible, as personalized as possible, without, of course, having to handwrite all these. I'm not going to handwrite 75 letters. So how do I do that, right? So from this spreadsheet that has all the information that I want, how do I get it into more of a format? So I've got owner full name, that's all jumbled around. I've got owner 1 full name, I've got owner 2 full name, and then I've got owner 1 first name, I've got owner 1 last name, owner 2 first name, and owner 2 last name. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this equals concatenate right there. Concatenate. And then you're going to put a parenthesis, and I'm going to take and make it look a little bit prettier, more personalized. So I'm going to click on this, put a comma, put Maryland's name, Charles Maryland, put another comma, put Brace, okay? And I'm going to close it. Let's see what this looks like. Charles Maryland C. Brace. All right. If this was a mailing label, do we like how that looks? Is that good for us? Well, it's okay, but it's kind of pushed all together and it still doesn't feel all that personal. So what you can actually do is after this comma, you have to use quotation marks. So you use quotation marks to put a space in there. And then actually I'm gonna use more quotation marks, and I'm gonna write the letter and a comma. Okay? Then I'm gonna go down here and I'll put another space between the end of the second owner and the last name. Let's see what this looks like. Hopefully I got this. So now it says Charles and Maryland C. Brace. Charles doesn't use a middle initial, but Maryland does. There's still a space that I'm missing here between the and the Maryland. So I missed that. So between the and the Maryland, I'm going to go another comma and another space. And that should do it right there. Charles and Maryland C. Brace. Is that better than now they have different last names, right? Of course. So again, as much as you want to mess around with it. So I guess in this case, what would I do here? I suppose you would want to put in Charles's last name. Now most of these are going to have the same last name, which is kind of what I was going for here. I was hoping not to this again, as much scrubbing as you want to do on this Here, I told myself I was going to be prepared for this training and not, but here we go. So yeah, if this bothers you, so for my purposes, here's what I do. Boom. Okay, copy this formula, okay, all the way down, and here's what we have. Okay, now I'm using the last name of owner 2, okay? So if you really want to drill down on this, Charles may not want to be addressed as Mr. Charles Brace, right? I don't know if they're married, I don't know their situation, etc. This one you might want to correct because it's in a trust. It doesn't have a typical owner 1, owner 2, etc. So if you wanted to find all the people, look Shirley A. So first of all, if you want to sit here and correct, if you want to correct all these things, which I guess if we're going for perfect, what you'd want to do, I didn't really want that there. I'm going to delete that. What you'd want to do is insert, since this is a formula, see this is all is a formula, right? So what you want to do is you want to pull this first. And you want to copy, and then you want to paste special as values, okay? You're going to paste it as values, and now these are no longer formulas, okay? So what we'd want to do here, like you could go through and make really simple corrections like this. Paste that in there. Charles, let's put your last name in there, buddy. Let's grab it. And we could put this in here. No, it doesn't want it. Let's try it another way. Copy that, go over here. Sorry, there we go. Okay. So you could go through these, but I think we're at 90%. Kevin Noel and Kira and Foss. Like I think if you go through these, if there's a weird one, she didn't get a last name. Shirley, she doesn't need an and. So at this point, you can kind of. So the important thing is. You're trying to make things a little bit easier, and copy, paste, and so you've done kind of 90%. You've made your life easier. Okay, so what's next? So next is you grab these owners. You label your columns owner names. Okay, and then you want to make this into kind of a more condensed sheet, okay? And I always open an extra tab at first, okay? Paste, and then what else do I need to grab if I'm making mailing labels, right? Is I want to grab the site street. The city, here, the state, and the zip code, okay? And what you end up with is you end up with kind of your scrubbed list. And this is, it took a little while. I'm gonna go in this folder real quick. CSV for mail merge. All right, and this is kind of what you get, right? A more scrubbed list, and there's my 75 users. Okay, what do you do with this? All right, let's move on. All right, so a few tricks you can get with Excel to reformat the entire thing. I hope that's what you got out of that. And then using those, and then what do we do in Word? Okay, so let's take a look at see. All right. Let's take a look at how this works. All right, here's a letter, okay? What did we say when we started this? We said that, let's see, this is the last portion. So we're going to create letters, print them, and we're going to create mailing labels, okay? So we're actually going to pause this training and we're going to go to the next training.